Welcome to another spooky review video from Spooky Ventures. This is our 97th edition and the last one before Halloween 2023. This time around I'm looking at a double disc Blu-ray set of the Spanish-Portuguese classic horror tale Tombs of the Blind Dead. Now I have to admit that I had heard great things about this movie for years but had never seen it before. Well, I should explain that there are two versions of this movie here. The first disc features the original Spanish edition of the film. The second has the edit of the movie that was done for US release. I suggest watching the original version rather than the US one. That's because the movie was heavily edited for release in the United States. If you're watching that Spanish version, you can choose Spanish audio or you can pick hybrid English-Spanish. If you make that choice, it's actually really simple to figure out which scenes were cut out. That's because the parts that are in Spanish with English subtitles were the ones that were removed before the movie was released in the US. You see, they recorded an English soundtrack for the film, but obviously didn't bother to do that for the scenes that wouldn't be shown in America. So, as soon as they switched to Spanish, you know that scene wasn't shown in American theaters. The US version also had a little rearranging in terms of sequence, with one of the scenes shown later in the film used as the opening for the American theaters. The biggest difference is that a lot of sexual content and graphic violence was removed for American moviegoers. This first Blind Dead film spawned 3 sequels. Watching this one, I can see why. The monsters were unique and intriguing. The ending leaves enough open to interpretation that a sequel seemed obvious. So what are the Blind Dead? Well, they are undead Knights Templar. It's revealed that they practiced satanic rituals that included drinking the blood of virgins. They were eventually captured and executed. Their bodies were hung in public as an example to others. Crows pecked out their eyes, which is why upon their resurrection they are blind. So they just follow sound around to find things. There are some questions, like why they have horses, but they look really cool with their tattered, decaying robes and rotting bodies. Some call them zombies, but honestly I think they are more ghouls. Then again, the original things called zombies in Night of the Living Dead are actually ghouls, which the filmmakers of that movie actually made very clear. Everyone started calling them zombies, though, and it just sort of stuck, and from that point forward, that sort of ghoul is considered a zombie as well. When it comes to the Blind Dead, they are vampiric in that they drink the blood of their victims. They do move slowly like George Romero's creations, but they are not mindless. They are intelligent, and that intellect makes them more dangerous. They also seem to transfer their undead nature to victims, along with a taste for blood, which reinforces the whole vampire mythology comparison. What the movie lacks in acting ability and budget, it more than makes up for in style and general creepiness. It gets pretty brutal for a film that was released in 1971. Also, the ruins in Spain where a lot of the movie was filmed are just so cool. I would love to spend some time wandering around those ruins. All of those things add up to a great creepy experience. I can really see why so many people speak so highly of this movie. Now, not having seen it before, I can't talk about the quality of this particular print versus other prints, but it definitely does look great. They say that the film had a lot of work done to it, getting the quality up, and I believe based on the look of this that they probably really did do a lot of work. There are quite a few bonus features here, but I didn't really find them all that compelling. That said, there was one really weird one that was pretty interesting. While I talked about the heavily edited US cut of the movie, there were actually several different edits of the film that made the rounds in the US. Without question, the strangest one was when they released it as Revenge of the Planet Ape. They tried to cash in on the whole Planet of the Apes frenzy by passing the knights in this movie off as resurrected intelligent apes. They cut all the scenes that indicated that the monsters were anything other than those resurrected apes, and they were said to be exacting their revenge on the human race for destroying their kind. They also filmed a spoken introduction explaining that the monsters were apes and how this world that we're seeing came to be. Wikipedia says that the movie probably only played at a small number of theaters in that configuration, but they include that alternate introduction here as a bonus feature, and it's kind of an interesting little thing. There's also a great documentary feature about the film within those bonus features, and beyond that you get the usual audio commentary and more. Bonuses or not, this is a great release, and bonuses, as I always say, are just that, additional things, not the main draw. The main draw here is the great print of the movie in both configurations, and it's certainly well worth having. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.